Hello everyone, welcome back to our Fire Nursing Tutorial YouTube channel. In this video, we are diving deep into the world of newborn birth injuries, focusing especially on Caput Succedaneum and Cephalohematoma. These are the two different conditions, one involving swelling, the other involving a collection of blood, but they often get mixed up. I am here to clarify the key differences, discuss their causes and outline the typical management plans. Let's get started. Who all have visited first time on this channel, please do subscribe and watch. Here, these are the birth traumas appears in newborn, Caput Succedaneum and Cephalohematoma. In the picture, you can observe. First, we'll see the introduction. Here, Caput Succedaneum and Cephalohematoma are two common neonatal scalp swellings. Both are due to birth trauma but differ in location, content, and clinical implications. And then, accurate diagnosis is a key to appropriate management. Next, we'll see the Caput Succedaneum. Here, it is an example of edema, and then in this condition, fluid accumulation occurs. It occurs due to improper venous drainage. And then fluid accumulation occurs between the scalp and periosteum of the bone. And then also we can see a rupture of vessels between periosteum and skull, often due to prolonged labor or instrument assisted delivery. It can cause the suture lining. It is soft and compressible, and then the maximum size appears at birth. Specific treatment is not required, self-resolve within 1 to 3 days, that is 72 hours. Next we'll see the cephalohematoma. It is an example of hematoma. In this condition, blood accumulation occurs, and then it occurs due to rupture of minor emissary vein by friction between maternal pelvis and fetal head. That is pressure from cervix or vaginal walls during delivery. Risk increased by forceps or vacuum use. Blood accumulation occurs between bone and its periosteum. It cannot cross the suture line. It is hard and non-compressible, and then if bleeding is minor, then stop, and then specific treatment is not required. In case of severe bleeding, ligation of vessel should be done. This is all about cephalohematoma. Next, we'll see the mechanism of development. Caput Succedaneum. Edema above periosteum crosses suture lines, and then it is due to venous congestion and pressure. Next comes to the cephalohematoma. Here, bleeding below periosteum limited by sutures, and then develops as blood accumulates post-trauma. Next, we'll see the clinical features. Caput Succedaneum. Present at birth, soft pitting, and then crosses suture line, and then scalp breezing we can see. And then here comes to the cephalohematoma. Appears hours after birth, it is firm and then well defined. Does not cross the sutures, skin intact. These are the clinical features. Next, we'll see distinguished features. Difference between both of this. Caput Succedaneum onset at birth, location above periosteum, and then crosses suture lining. It is soft and resolve in days. And then comes to the cephalohematoma. Here onset hours after birth, location below periosteum, and then does not cross sutures. Form resolves in weeks or months. Next, we'll see the complications. Caput Succedaneum usually benign. It is usually benign, and then risk of jaundice if bruising significant. And then comes to cephalohematoma. Jaundice from RBC breakdown, and then in the rare cases we can see that due to infection, skull fracture and calcification. These are the complications. Next, we'll see the management. Caput Succedaneum. Here observation only that resolve in 1 to 3 days, and then in certain conditions treat jaundice if needed. And then comes to cephalohematoma. Monitor bilirubin, and then it resolves in weeks, and then drain if infected or this one calcified. It's all about management. I hope you all are very clear with the topic, both injuries, Caput Succedaneum and cephalohematoma. Please give it a like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more informative topics. Thank you for watching.